know there's 10 seconds to go, but fuck it. Let's start the show. Hi, Holt. Hi, Jack. Great you're watching, and all the other people. You might be on Twitch, on YouTube, or Facebook. And yeah, we're on a roll lately. We had lots of cool artists, and today we have Close to Custom, and I'm super excited because he's been making it rain new projects lately, dance floor bangers. So without further ado, let's get him in. Yo, Remco.
Hi, good evening.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yes, well, of course, thank you for being on the show. And yeah, Jack is asking, will we be seeing Close to Custom projects today? We'll be diving in, and we're also going to dive in to the one that I really wanted to know, the rhythm import one.
Yes.
So we're going to see it all. So what's up, Robert? You had a busy day, you said?
Yeah, I had a busy day at work, and yeah, it's always nice to come home and just relax a little bit. And we had this appointment tonight, so I was really looking forward to this one as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, just fun talking about some music and how I approach my music, and I hope to inspire some other guys tonight. And yeah, let's have some fun.
Yeah.
So we will see.
Guys and girls, I hope, because we also have Aldana Pereda online. Hi, Aldana. Nice you're tuning in. It's nice to see you all joining from wherever you are. It's nice to see so many people already. Yeah, you could go to the YouTube one. This show is always on lessons of youtube.com/lessons in live. There's loads of tutorials as well as other interviews I had with a lot of other artists. We're actually at show 51. I checked out today. It's been a long time coming. And yeah, I'm super excited, man. So yeah, it's going pretty well. I see people playing your tracks all the time. I see you on Richie Next label. Of course, I had your buddy Den Haas in the show recently, and Fyrone. You guys are like the three musketeers.
Yeah.
How's that going? And how did these guys influence you, or how are you guys influencing each other? Like keeping the motivation up.
Yeah, that's a cool story because I think the story goes about 12 to 13 years back now when we first met each other, just sharing the passion for electronic music, because we were living in a small city where there wasn't really a music scene for the thing we love. And we created ourselves, and that's why we became friends that time. And yeah, we still keep on doing it because, yeah, we really love listening to music, making music, and also sharing that moments with each other. And yeah, it's really great to be on a point now where you get some recognition for the things you did all these years before.
Yeah.
And yeah, I always live by a quote that says, "Fail again, feel better," because I think I'm really good at failing. I'm never giving up.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really important first lesson in life
Yes.
for the people. Yeah, feel better, and
Yeah.
there's always a lesson in anything.
Yeah.
But it's really cool to motivate these guys also, and yeah, we keep each other in track, and yeah, it's really cool to
Yeah.
see them guys grow as well, and yeah, they are the same level as me, so yeah.
Yeah, and you go
Perfect.
together, and it's really interesting you say fail better, lessons in life actually started for me failing, I had quite a good career going on, but, nightlife took over, and I sort of lost myself like about 7-8 years ago, and I had to reinvent it, and then lessons in life became a platform which is now so it was a great start, and it's lessons in life that got me there. So I think the more you fail, the better you will be if you persevere, at least, and it's nice to see all three of you, because I didn't know you actually, like, from the past, but I know Fyrone and Den Haas. We've met years ago when I was still playing a lot around Amsterdam and Holland. We saw each other quite often, and they were always out partying, and it's amazing to see you guys thrive like how you do now with all the tracks, and you're going to Manchester soon, I believe, for gigs. So
Also, yeah,
yeah, so is it?
London as well this Saturday
Yeah.
on the southeastern party at Basing House. So yeah, it's really cool, and I think you have to enjoy it as much. as you do, because you have that intrinsic motivation to keep you going.
Yeah.
And that's why we're still doing it after 12 years or so now. And yeah, still having fun with it. And yeah, cool.
Yeah, it shows, man. It shows. So, yeah, and the latest thing that is going pretty well is the "God Made Me Funky" track.
Yeah.
The edit you made, I saw Chris Tussie playing it on his Instagram, and it has quite a few downloads already. So
Yeah.
for the people that don't know yet, you can get it free from soundcloud.com/close to custom.
Yes, and I
And
made it together with Jack as well, with Den Haas, and it's very funny because he laid down the instrumentals, and I found also the vocal that fits perfectly in the track, and I chopped a little bit and I arranged it a little bit, and then yeah, it was arranged in one shot or two shot or something like that, and then we bounced it down, and it lay down for a while, and then we spoke to each other. Okay, when we want to go to release it,
yeah.
and yeah. We said to each other, okay, why not? And yeah, it's going pretty well now with the edit. So yeah, cool.
Yeah. So let's have a listen to it because I see my friend Daniel Dekkers is online. Glad you're looking, Daniel. I hope Justin is online as well. Marijn is online. Holt's asking if I have my own academy. Yes, lessonsinlife.com. Jay, my old students online. Nice to have you all here. And let's listen to God Make Me Funky. And we'll be back in a sec.
You know, God made me funky. Ha 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 ha. Yeah. You know, I'm taking it back to the mother lode, the mothership. Well, alright, you squares. You know it's time to get up for the downstroke. Ain't no joke. We going back like that, you know what I'm saying? Afros, picks, afro puffs. You know, rough and stuff. You know, 'cause God made me funky. I believe that. Straight to the bone. Oh yeah, you know. Swinging a beat like this makes me wanna go back, you know. Back in the 70s, you know. Something like my man James Brown would say. Hey, 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 hey. Yeah, you know. God made me funky. And I'm just glad he made me that way. Cause you gotta get ready. Don't let that bus flash you by. You know what I'm saying? Soul brothers, soul sisters. Putting your fists in the air, saying yeah. Something on a real old school tip. Oh yeah. You know, all I can say is that God made me funky. And I'm glad he blessed me that way. Yeah. Now that's what I'm screaming. You know, we gotta get together. Clean up them neighborhoods. Make it better. Make it all good. And it starts within. You know, it's time to put up or shut up. You know, gotta make a change somehow, some way. As my man Visual would say. Oh yeah, you know that God made me funky. And I'm glad he blessed me that way. Yeah, get up for the downstroke. And once again, alright, you squares. Yeah. It's time to move on, groove on. Before you get loosed on.
Yes, so subtle. Like I love this bass line. It's so super cool. So yeah, everybody's having a great time in the chat. I see. Love to know where you're all from. So let me know where you're tuning in from. I think a lot of UK, if I judge it from here well. And yes, Diet Crisps. It's such a clean groove. I love it. Likewise. Yeah, the SoundCloud link as a free download of this track. So go to soundcloud.com, look for Close to Custom, and it's the top one, right? And there's way more edits. You're like I called you the edit king. There's edits of Run DMC.
Yes, Good Life.
Good Life, and the Take a Ride one.
Yeah, true. Also, yeah, that's the latest before the Got Baby Funky edit as well.
Yeah. Go grab it, guys. Go grab it. It's for free.
Yeah.
All right. So before we go into the Take a Ride one, let's have a chat because I think it's you have a 303 there.
Yeah. It's quite funny because we talked about it just a few seconds ago. Yeah, I mean, sort from having a love-hate relationship with external gear, you know, because it's very cool to have it, but it's also a little bit time-consuming, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm having here a GD3, a Roland, a B-Ringer RD6. And in the past, I got some synthesizers as well, like the Korg M1 and other stuff. But yeah, for now, I'm totally in the box. And there's just a push 2 and a complete keyboard controller. And also over there's the Novation key station or something.
Yeah.
And yeah, so for now, I'm just using two things, just like the push 2 and the MIDI keyboard, just to keep it in a box, to keep it fast and tidy for now, because I got a little busy job at the moment. So yeah.
So, but yeah, I know it's I have a Novation bass station and an Electron machine drum and a Nordlead, but yeah, lately it's just my complete control and my Ableton push, and that's it. I got a Akai APC 40 as well to sometimes, you know, jam the track. But yeah, it's so nice to work in the box, and if you have a nice workflow, you go pretty fast, and that's the thing.
So it's really cool to jam for jamming out ideas and getting out some of your working method, you know, something you're doing over and over, like building up a track from start to finish, and sometimes it kills creativity. So yeah, it's sometimes good to jam on external stuff, but if you got a little amount of time to in the studio, yeah, you want to take the most out of it.
Yeah,
it's a decision, but I'm not saying that I won't ever buy gear at all, but
yeah, and it's also, you know, it's also fun because the interface of the hardware usually makes you jam a bit more or get some more organic results sometimes. You know, in the box you tend to draw lines instead of like recording them, even though if you have a push you can still map stuff and do it like this. There's many different different approaches, I think, but it's nice to see you. There's also a little mixer there. This mixer, is it a mixer?
True. Yeah, that's old Mackie 1202 one. It's the mixer that Daft Punk uses for his Homework album. So that's the version that made in America, and the VLZ versions they made in China. So back in the days they said you have to need this mixer for the preamps.
Yeah,
I guess Sam told me. Do you know Sam? Sam from Stashi. Sam told me about 8 years ago. You have to take that mixer, put in some 909 drums in it, and overdrive and stuff, but it's still there, and it's collecting dust a little bit now, but it's cool to have it.
Who knows, man? Maybe you start to work a day less. We get more gigs like the one in Manchester on the 26th of November. You know, they're just John O'Brien. Thanks for
John O'Brien, hey mate.
Yeah. Cool. He's online promoting you, man. Nice. Great you took him to Manchester. I wish I could be there. Nice. So yeah, maybe it's time to open up a project. And see, see what you've been doing, so you can start sharing your screen. And,
all right.
Lots
Share my screen.
lots
Yeah.
of Kimba people I see online. Nice, great. You guys are checking this out. I hear great things from Jay about Kimba, which is cool. And Holt is asking, when did you buy the hardware? It's like a long time ago.
The hardware that I have right now, no, I think it was this year because the B-Ringer stuff is quite cheap, you know.
Yeah.
So the CD3 is about 100 euros and the RD6 is about 160 euros. So it's cheap, and yeah, you can try it out if you want. So it's not much money, but
No, yeah, great. So now Holt knows
this
that as
year,
well. Let me put ours on top so we see the full screen below. Let me take the close to custom somewhere small, so it's not in the way for people. So I make this a little bit smaller. Here we go. Zoop. And I need to find a good place for your name. Where will we put it? Maybe in the groove. So you're using the Notator 16D swing.
yeah, true, yeah, true.
You use that one a lot?
Yeah, it's quite funny because I think 2 years ago I joined the Demarzo platform for a few months, and we get connected in that way. And he shared some samples on the platform too, and he also uses the 16D swing as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm also using it, but sometimes it depends. I'm also using the MP6 one.
Yeah.
My music, it's not about too much swing. It's more fast driven, but it depends. In this one, it's more swing, as you can see. It's about 47, and sometimes with the fast rolling tracks, I'm about 30% of the groove or something.
Yeah. I
So
like to
I'm
use
like this.
the Logic swing, the Logic 1665 swing, and then have it 100% or a bit less. You know, I really like to.
All right.
I like to swing it. You know, nice. It's
Yeah,
cool.
cool.
Yeah,
So
and
it really depends. Yeah.
and the DeMarzo is also nice. I saw they just released a new Sidney Charles video. He posted this on his Instagram. I've never been inside the DeMarzo EMC, but of course I know all these guys that do something there, and it's a great platform. And I believe many, and also some of my students first went to DeMarzo, and it's a great place to see videos of the guys that release big music, you know. So it's a good place to learn.
Yeah, so that's also a little bit my method when I'm a little bit stuck and I'm lacking some kind of inspiration. I'm joining some kind of platform to take some inspiration out of it. And when I'm reaching a level okay, I'm not getting out of it something anymore, then I'm quitting and I'm going and take that inspiration with me in the tracks, you know. So that's also maybe a tip from me as well. Just picking things from other artists that's fitting your style of music and making music, you know, because everyone's doing it their own way. And I think if you pick some things out that works for you, try it. If it don't work, okay, you tried it. But if it works for you in your workflow, then use it. And then you are building your own unique sound. I did.
Yeah, good shout. I think it's also just a matter of getting new information, and do not forget to apply it, you know. Don't get stuck in only getting new information. Also, you know, at some point you have to make music a lot yourself just to get better. And then, if you're stuck, you just get some new information, try the new techniques, and that's the way to go, you know. Max Lightweight's online. Max Dieter is online. Nice to see you all. It's getting busy. Got 31 people watching. So let's dive into Close to Custom. Let's ride. This is also one that's a free download on your.
No. That's the take a ride. Let's
I'm
ride.
giving away everything.
No problem.
Okay.
Cool. This one's released on the Push label. The guys from England also released this summer. And I wanted first to show you this kind of track because most of the time I'm using a vocal in my tracks, and this is the first kind of track I'm not using a vocal. And for me, it's really hard to keep a track interesting with no vocals at all, and also no pads or breaks or that kind of stuff. And this is purely an instrumental track. And I will show you how to things keeping interesting without any vocal chops or lines or whatever. So I will let you know a little bit.
Play with, yes. Hey, Greco House. Hey, man, what's up? Got the Rawsome guys in the house. Also, guys, let us know if the sound's off or when it could be a bit louder, then we can adjust the taste.
So yeah, that's the track Let's Ride. I can listen a little bit about the big break, then you will notice a little bit of difference, but it's not that much. So it's very quite minimal track. It's a starter.
Yeah, but everybody loves the bass line so far. Yeah, it's just a really good groove, man.
So yeah, so as you can hear and see as well, is that I'm not using any pads or really big synth lines or vocals. So yeah, it's about the little details that it comes to when you're making a track like this. About you have to really have a good foundation, like the kick and the bass line, they have to work together. So a little bit of some kind of melody in your bass line that is a really good starting point if you're wanted to use a track without any vocal or something. Then the core foundation, like your kick, your bass, and your drums, they have to talk to each other like an answer response kind of pattern, and then you can extend it a little bit out, and then it's possible to make a track without any vocals or lead lines.
Yeah.
All right. So
take us through, because people are really curious to how you made the bass line. So let's just go sound for sound, and you just show us the track, and I'll shut up for a moment.
yeah, perfect. Okay, guys. The first track is a sidechain channel, and I think most people know what a sidechain does. It's out, so it's not sending any signal to the audio system, so it's off. But it's a MIDI signal that's pushing the sidechain channel to duck the bass line for the kick. Okay, then we go on to the kick as well. I'm always grouping my kicks into two things, like the kick, just the main kick, and also the top part as well, because I think it's really important when you're listening on a smaller system, the kick must stand out in your track. It don't have to be too loud, because otherwise it's not too pleasant to listen to it. But I think if you're layering a little bit of top end to it, then it punches much more through in the club system as well. So you're creating more punch. So yes, this is the kick. I will let you listen. I will take a main section to begin with. Solo it. Okay, as you can see, this is not much processing, but my processing, it's going on here. But first on the channel as well, I'm always using the shot mode, because I can easy the transient really fast like this. And it's important that you're not using too much tail in a kick, because otherwise the kick tail using too much headroom in the club and it's too bassy. So I prefer most of the time to do a shorter kick than a longer kick, because my bass line is really groovy, and for me it's about the bass in most of my tracks. So my kick tend to a little bit short but punchy and full, and as you can hear, there's much body to it, also a little bit sub, and I will take you to it how I reach that. Also about the top as well. Now you can hear a little bit of high end in the kick, and that's important to cut through in the sound system, and also smaller speakers and headphones like your AirPods and etc. Without and with. So yeah. Okay. Then we go to the processing. The first one is the EQ. Now, most of us know that you cut off the very low frequencies, about 30 hertz or something. Important always to keep your kick in mono. That's a really bit standard guideline. I'm using a little bit of decimort here as well, pushing the preamp a little bit. Not too much, just a little bit to give it a little bit of grit. Then we go to the drum bass. Also the drum bass a little bit like parallel, 50%, otherwise it will sound too boomy. So always using the drum bass a little bit, otherwise yeah, it's too pronounced.
I love drum bass. It glues everything so nice together.
So yeah, I'm using a lot of plugins, but really subtle, you know. Sometimes it's not needed. Sometimes you have to listen more to the kick and to the sound. Then you don't have too many plugins. You don't need to. But yeah, I'm most of the time ending up adding plugins with a little bit of dry and wet. So the amp also a little bit of compression, just a little touch. And I got the Airbus mono. So this one, for me, it's a really game changer, mostly for the low end in your kick drum. So you can hear the difference when it's off. It's massive, right?
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Yeah, I think Sidney Charles was also using this. He also showed this in his. And
also subtlety is key. Yeah. So also a little bit, otherwise it will distort. So what I'm always doing is when I'm having a chain of plugins, I'm always grouping them, because then I can really check also with the utility to gain match a little bit about the plugins. Otherwise louder, sometimes you think it's better, but it's only louder. So I'm always gain matching a little bit afterwards. But this is the difference between off and on. So yeah, that's quite a bit, right? Yeah. Also a little bit of volume, okay. But yeah, it depends from this in the track. So this.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's really important. Okay.
Hey,
so we got the kick covered.
Consider one more question about the kick from Holt. How would you find the hertz for the R bass on the kick? Is that just playing by ear, or do you use the spectrum to find out, or what's the
It's
process?
most of the time playing by ear, but I know the prominent frequency most in the kick drums is around 50 to 55 hertz. A little bit boosting in that area, and then you will be fine.
Yeah.
You can also you can also do that as well with the pill check EQ, like the pill check trick head, and you're boosting also a little bit on the 60 hertz frequency. But yeah, most of the time I'm around 50 to 56 hertz. So yeah, I'm always using R bass on my kick. So yeah, that's that. The kick drum. Okay, now we go to the bass line. Also, you see I'm grouping the bass line as well into different parts, like the sub, like the main part. This one has to call the high bass, but it's now bass instead, and the sub part. But I don't using a sub in there. It's something different. I don't know. Sometimes I'm using a little bit of sub line underneath it, but not always. Then we go to the bass line. So we have the bass line.
It's nice.
And the plugin for this one is a preset Silly Bass, and it's Fury 800. It's a free plugin from Full Bucket. You can search it on Google. It's a really cool plugin for bass lines.
Yeah, if I can about free plugins. Yesterday I posted the 247 best free plugins in the Lessons in Live group on Facebook. So if you have Facebook, go find the Lessons in Live group. I usually post like interesting stuff there. Well, at least I think it's interesting. But there is like one. I made a post yesterday. It contains the 247 best free plugins, from compressors to synths and whatnot. It's a great. It's a great link. So if you're looking for free shit, check that out. But this Fury one, I didn't know, man. It sounds great. It's really like a nice, like round sound.
Yeah, so it's a free plugin. So yeah, really cool.
Super cool.
So together with the kick, it's sounding like this.
At some point.
Okay. So keeping interest in the track as well, I'm adding a bassline high layer, and that one I'm using the Triton, I guess. Let's see. Yeah, that's this one. It's the warm synth bass. So with a little bit of delay, adding the gaps in the bassline as well to creating that call and answer response. That's so important for creating a groove.
Yeah. Gives it just a bit more vibe. Yeah.
So yeah, this is the kick in the bass. A little bit of processing. So as you can see, I roll off the low frequencies and the sidechain compressor. So not fancy stuff. Just
So
I'm missing a plugin here, but I think that's a compressor as well. So yeah, for this only rolls off the lows and using a sidechain. So then we have the kick and the bass covered.
And you cut your bass at 80 hertz? Did I see 80 hertz? Like is that 80?
No, that is the 52. Sorry.
Yeah, 52 hour. So around where the kick is as well. So they're not like really.
True. It's also depending because I'm boosting the 50 frequency domain on the kick. So I'm always thinking in my head, okay, then I have a little bit of cut of the bass line to give the kick room in the club to play.
Yeah.
Always keeping. Okay, I'm adding in the kick like this frequency, and then I'm subtracting a little bit off from the bass line. So they're not fighting for too much space in the low frequency, because it's really, really, really important for our kind of music, the low end frequency.
Yeah.
Okay, so any questions for the kick and the bass and the groove as well? Maybe they want to see the bass line pattern or something.
What about MIDI writing for bass line in relation to kick? Do you have any tips on this, or maybe you can show the pattern of the bass so that they can see a bit like
as you can see, I'm always not always but most of the time I'm placing my bass notes beside the kick. So this is the kick, and you see it's playing around that 4/4 kick drum.
Yeah.
As you can see, this is a kick. Oh wait, this is the kick drum.
Your phone starts talking.
Yeah, that's the Siri. Siri guy.
That's Siri. That's yeah.
Okay, but as you can see, if the kick is right here, you see, I'm alternating between the kick drum. So that's one kind of pattern your bass or your bass line to drawing your bass notes between the kick drums. So it gets automatically a little bit of that answer response kind of technique.
Yeah.
So this is the bass MIDI part, and also that one is also really important. Like I'm doing a 4-bar MIDI loop, and also at the end of the phrase a little twist to keep it interesting. Otherwise it will sound really boring, and that it sound too much loopy. So so always thinking, okay, the last one, or maybe at 8 bars or 16 bars, add a little bit of variation.
If you listen to like Chris Stassi, his bass lines are insane. Halfway through the track he just changed the whole bass line, and it's so interesting how it still feels like the same track, but the bass line just twists, and then I think that's really important, just to find a way to keep it interesting. I call it pattern variations. If you use pattern variations and try to change stuff through your track, it's going to be way more interesting than just having the same thing playing over and over again.
Yeah, that's correct. It's true. Yeah, and it's really important. Just a little subtle difference in the bass line. Otherwise, people don't get the hook on it as well.
Yeah.
If you change too much in the bass line,
Yeah.
people don't know what to expect,
Yeah,
and
true.
then it's
Yeah.
it's a little bit messy. So a few variation. That's enough. And also this one is playing on top of it with a delay, and this one I jammed with the push one with a little bit swing on it, like the notator one, and yeah, just by ear.
Yeah.
Okay, then we go to the drums. So it's the clap. I'm always layering my claps as well. I'm often I'm not always using one clap. I'm most of the time using 3 or 4 claps just
Wow.
to fill out the frequency spectrum.
Yeah, nice.
It's not necessary because sometimes one good clap fits
with
fits
some
the track.
saturation would do it, but yeah.
So yeah, everything I say here, that there are no rules.
No.
That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I find it very useful to use different clap textures to fill out the frequency spectrum, because for a clap it's really important to get some body and also some punch. When you're listening to a really good high sound system, you have to. I think the clap is also really important beside the kick and the bass. That's the main anchor in your track, and yeah, it has to pop.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's funny because I remember some nights where we just staring the guys and this is a really good clap. So yeah, it's really important to have a good clap.
Yeah.
Sometimes in the club you're listening, oh shit, this clap is fucking sick.
Yeah. It's just there's more ways to roam, they say. So if you have one good clap with lots of good saturation, might be really good, But layering also gives you more control in a way. Like, okay, if you put one a bit louder and the other, then you can sort of like balance the clap in your frequency spectrum, as you say. I think it's really nice. 4, nice.
Yeah, true. Just to fill out, and I think
I like to have it in the mid range, pretty full.
Also, but I did no. This one I didn't. Sometimes I'm also a little bit shifting the MIDI notes as well to get that clap sound
to
effect.
make it a bit they call it messy, like flat.
True. Yeah, it is. Okay. So on the clap, I'm having just a little bit of boosting on the mid-high frequency to cut more in the mix, and also using the Magi Q as well to get a little more top end. But this one is boosted also a little bit on the 12.5K, so it's also more for the body.
Yeah.
Let's listen.
Yeah, you can hear the Mach.
So a little bit, maybe it's not needed, but yeah, it sounded okay. So yeah, that's the clap.
Nice. And the heads.
All right.
Heads are
then
my
we go into the headless. It's all. What I also find very useful is always grouping the heads in the same bass as well, in the drum bass.
Yeah.
So we got the drums, then we got the clap, and then we got the head separated in a drum bass, because then you have more control over the high frequencies. And I think that's really game changer for me to speed up your workflow. Otherwise, your head's laying everywhere in the drum bass, and sometimes if you're layering heads as well, you're stacking up frequency, and sometimes then you're hearing an annoying frequency, and then you're searching for the head. Where is that frequency? Where is that head? And then you're losing time again to be creative. So yeah, that's really important as well. Okay, so the head bass. Let's go for the first one. So yeah, this is the open head. Yeah. What I always use as well is, like, I'm using one main head, this one main open head, and I'm differentiate between the closed and open settings. So like this is closed.
Yeah.
And this one.
Yeah.
It's closed. So
again, variation throughout the track,
Sure. Because open the hi-hat gives you more energy, closing the hi-hat will take down a little bit of the energy. So yeah, it's always, I'm using, like I said, 1, 2, 3. So in the intro, most of the time closing, forward to the track, open, and then fully open. So 1, 2, 3. That's another trick I'm using for myself.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice one.
So really important, keeping things simple, but also a little bit structured, and keeping your creative part free for doing other stuff. Like, a little bit of the boring stuff that always, most of the time, happens in a track. It's closed, then it's open, etc.
Yeah.
All right. Then the
it's
another
nice to just
layer
automate the decay.
between it.
Yep.
Another layer between it. Then the closed one as well, but with the groove. So it mentioned closed /GR, so closed groove.
Yeah.
Also a little bit dip, also a little bit of the boosting frequencies. And I'm also using a really cool Max for Live plugin here as well, the ML Distance. And what this does is it takes out the low frequencies, so you get the perception that the track or the instrument is further away from you. So you can really place things in the frequency spectrum and also in the stereo spectrum.
Yeah.
So
you showed it to me on Sunday when we were preparing this.
Because what I always find important is that the main open head always is the king in that group. So the main head is always in the front.
Yeah.
And all the other heads that is contributing to the groove, most of the time I'm dipping a little bit to the back, like this. Now you're losing somebody, but I'm taking it back.
Yeah.
Now it's too much in your face, so you can really place like the high-end frequency, like the hi-hats, a little bit behind the important hi-hat for me, like the open hi-hat. All the other high-end stuff needs to kneel down for the open hi-hats.
Kneel down for the king of the hi-hats. I love your imagination with it. I think that's also like super fun. So next time you're making music, you can call it like the king hat, and then it's servants. And the ML Distance is a free one at maxforlive.com, right? Go find it and grab that one.
Yes, Max for Live community. Yeah. So that have to, but it's also very useful. Like the same thing for the percussion stuff as well. Maybe I'm using it there as well, but okay, this one the heads, and also the 16 head, using a lot of my tracks. All right, so the head bus is getting out of the low frequencies, a little bit of the amp. Now as you can see, 2%,
just a little bit of dirt, mate.
A little bit, yeah, it's a little bit much. This one I'm not using, as you can see, or a little bit of drive.
Yeah, Saturn, love that plugin.
Also, again, the Maag EQ on it, and the Valhalla Space Modulator, but it's not on. And that's sometimes a trick I use as well to get a little bit of a flanger, like Space Modulator on the high frequency, to get the thing moving, a little bit. Otherwise, it's going to phase. And it's not sounding like nice, but a little bit takes you a lot. So
you hear it a lot on a lot of tracks actually. If you browse to the Beatport Top 100, there's so many tracks with like a flanger or sort of like phasing on the heads, which makes them move a bit. Quite a signature thing at the moment. Hey, I have a question from Noise Shapes. Do you also use a track spacer for more control of the frequency, or only of the frequencies, or only with the EQ across the track? Do you have track spacer actually?
Yeah, that's funny because Jack and Rob uses the track spacer a lot, but no, I'm not using it. I'm using the sidechain function, but recently having the kickstart from Nicky Romero, like the sidechain.
Cool. I also bought it this year. Yeah, a bit late to the game, but I'm having it now as well. But also for this one, what I made a mistake in the past. I'm dropping a sidechain on a channel, and then for every sidechain, I'm using different settings. But that's I think the worst thing you can do. But I think if you're using a kickstart like this, all the settings must be a little bit of the same on groove stuff, Otherwise, you're getting really pumping groove loop, and then there's another setting on there and there. So using the same sidechain settings, or on your track spacer, or on the sidechain stock plugin, or on this kind of stuff. So imagine I'm using like 60%, then I'm copying this setting to every sidechain that I will want to sidechain. So I know everything is on 60%. Yeah, maintaining that groove, Yeah.
Also important one, I think.
Yeah, I love track spacer actually. I use it a lot for my kick and bass. That's it's just Easy.
Maybe I need to do it again. But
Yeah, it's like the best. It's a sidechain with an EQ built in, so it's also helping to like sort of like get them. But if you do too much, it's killing your bass line. So you really have to watch out how much you do. But I like that you can put the range, so I can only do it in the low end, everything under 150, so it won't affect everything above that, which is nice. It's like sidechaining in sort of like a range, which I really like from Trackspacer. Yeah.
Sure. Okay, we go to the gate now, and that's the drum loop, and I think Jack mentioned that as well for the gate trick, the MIDI clips. He explained that in really good detail. So if you want to get a brief explanation about this technique, check out his...
the Dive in Live with Den Haas.
Yeah.
It's on the youtube.com/lessons in live, and you'll find it. There's way more, but check out the Den Haas one. It's really interesting. He explains the whole gate trick.
Yeah, and this one is a really cool one as well, because what it does is triggering the loops that I have here, and it's all drum loops, like this one. I'm triggering this with the MIDI clips. So I'm creating a new drum loop with the existence drum loop in this gate. So yeah, there are a lot in it, as you can see. But I made my own drum group in it. So as you can see. So yeah, that one.
Super cool.
And this, another loop section. And as you can hear, this one is also really important because it's got a little ambient vibe to it as well.
Yeah, it has like...
If I'm deleting this one, it will fall apart.
Yeah, it's really like a filler.
So also in this kind of track, no vocals, it's really important to create a wide frequency spectrum, and yeah, otherwise it sounds still and stiff, and with this ambient sound beneath it.
Yeah. Yeah, I also see vinyl. Is that like more like the sort of the vinyl? Is that more like sort of like a noise in there, because noise always like fills up the frequency spectrum really nice.
True. Yeah. Always using different layers like noise. Yeah. Indeed. As you can see, let's hear. Sidechaining as well.
I have a really good sample pack for this, man. If you guys, it's the dust and air loops from Sample Magic. It's nice. I don't know if you can still get it, but it's a great dust and air loops. It's got loops from cities, but also just like really noisy loops. It's really nice. It's always good to throw something in there which is noisy.
Cool. Okay, and then most of the time when I'm making music, I'm starting with the kick, with the drums and with the bass, and then I'm going to the creative part, I guess, and that's the thing. I'm starting here, so we got a reactor loop. I'm starting with this one, a little bit.
It's really soft.
Just heel subtle.
Oh yeah.
So yeah. In solo, you think, okay, that doesn't do much, but in the context of the mix, it does.
Yeah.
And I think that's the main key about this track, subtlety.
Yeah.
Also this one. Yeah. And this sound is perfectly contributing that higher bass layer, as I mentioned before.
Yeah.
It's the same kind of sound and the same kind of vibe, so yeah, it fits.
Yeah.
And also this one.
Yeah. Yeah, these things, you don't really sort of like actively hear them in the track, but once you mute them, you lose you're like, hey, where did the groove go? It's really interesting how that works.
Indeed. So the processor on this one is...
Look at this guy. You have these really weird, today also when we were like preparing, you had this sort of like, what was it? The high school crush, Max for Life.
Yeah, Max for Life guy.
Yeah, Max for Life is a great place to get interesting tools, and they're actually really good and fun to use as well.
Yeah, so this is a really cool one because this is an octo modulator, and you can draw in the steps as well, and then it will move the parameters as you sign them in. So
really cool. So you can control that band pass which you have on the auto filter. Wow, this is awesome. This is like a really cool one especially for a band pass. It usually with an LFO it doesn't really do what you want because it goes too far, but here you can actually literally place it. This is crazy, man. Well, I'm gonna
Cool,
write
right?
this down. This is like such a tip, dude. Octoseek modulator.
Yes, that's true. So that's a really cool one, and yeah, you can really point out the groove in it as well. So a little bit chorus behind that, and the frequency shifter also a little bit. So yeah, that's a really cool one.
Yeah, man, this is great. Hey, we have a question.
Yeah,
What you got in regards to the return channels hold cast?
yeah. I will
Yeah,
check
we'll
that,
get there.
also
Yeah,
with you. Yeah,
yeah. we're actually now there, probably.
almost. Yeah, almost. Yeah. Okay, this one also had octosec. So yeah, what I mentioned before, it's contributing the little subtleties like these things. If you have these things in your arsenal, then you can try to make a track without any vocals. But yeah, it's a good thing to have these kind of really cool, effective plugins, creative plugins to make some weird things.
Yeah. Yeah, and variation, I think, your lives will, I always say to my students, life is way more interesting if you do lots of new stuff. If you learn how to surf, you learn a new language, you go to a different place you've never been before, it makes your life interesting. Well, the same with your music. The more variation you put in there, in a sort of structured way or just a little bit unstructured sometimes, you get like super interesting music because it feels like it's not too loopy, with these little changes. I think this one is a great
Yeah.
tip, man. I think this is tip of the week.
True. Thank you. All right. Okay. Yeah, we go to the buses.
Yeah.
I was a little bit speaking if I'm sending some from the kick or the bass, but I'm not, as you can see.
Oh, yeah.
So it's empty. But yeah, from the drums starting from the drums, I'm sending to the buses. And I really get a lot of questions about how to make your drums sounding gritty and punchy. And yeah, I show you my trick, how I get to that point.
It's funny because if you read your buses, the Hyper Devil room plate hall
Yeah,
delay
you
effect.
know it. You know
It's
it.
like if you read them all, it's like a word or it's like a sentence. This is my Hyper Devil room plate hall delay effect, and it's great. Cool. Yeah, go for it, man.
Yeah, inderdaad. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so for my drum bus, I'm using two kind of things. So like the hyper compressor,
Ah, yeah.
that's a really punchy compressor that's made by the guys from Per Hammer and
Yeah.
another guy.
Yeah.
So yeah, really using this plugin a lot on my drum bus. Also a little bit like I'm going to my drums again. Sorry, it's in solo. If as you can see, it puts a lot of grittiness.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm sending a little bit of the first one to the hyper compressor, but then there's another sausage as well. That's the devil lock. Also, low cutting the low frequency. Otherwise, if there's any mud in the loops, you're stacking up. So I'm always cutting around 200 hertz or
Yeah.
sometimes more to cut a little bit. And yeah, this also really good plugin from Sound Toys.
Yeah.
So most of the time, I'm using this in conjunction with each other. So we got a hyper compressor for the compression, and we got the devil lock for the saturation and the distortion kind of thing.
Yeah.
So and these plugins together, yeah, is creating a little bit of that punchy, dirty sound, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
There's some reverb.
So
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Did you hear the difference?
Yeah,
Here,
it's
let's
crazy.
go. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's without. With it.
Yeah. Way
So,
more
yeah.
character, eh?
That's,
Character and
that-
punch.
That's the sausage. Yes. Okay. Then we go to for my drum bus. I'm using a little bit of room reverb. So the convolution reverb with the German theater setting. Yeah, not too fancy. A little bit of decay, small size, a little bit of pre-delay. It can be shorter, but it's adding a little bit of ambience behind the drums. The plate for, I think, also the audio stuff. So like this kind of loops. Also creating that three-dimensional space, like we got a small room, we got a plate for a little bit wider sound, and then also got a whole one to create more depth in your mix. Also in subtlety, maybe it's good to hear the reverb in this section. Okay, I'm using automation, as you can see, also a really important thing. I'm sending it to the delay and also a little bit to the reverb, to the big as well.
Reverb to create a riser, sort of.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Because I'm having not much elements to show.
Yeah, I call this transitions with effects. I have a YouTube tutorial on this, like how to use your sense to create builds, you know, and it's always great to have a big verb and just send some hi-hats and some drums there just before the drop, and you get like the... You know.
Perfect. Yeah, that's perfect.
That's great.
And, yeah, that suits the style. The delay, as you can see here, is the Echo Boy, just 100%, and the 1.8 setting. And then we got the effect, not using that often, but it's the effect thing from a Sound Toys.
Yeah.
Also a little bit. So yeah, a few effects. Then the master, yeah, it's nothing more than just a utility, the auto filter to create some breaks.
Yeah.
As you can see, the span also really important, because most of the time annoying frequencies build up in this spectrum.
Yeah.
Also the 8 kilohertz to the 10, 11 kilohertz always peaking at some kind of point with my music, because I'm stacking a lot of high frequency to each other. I'm always checking, okay, are there any spikes in this one?
Yeah, yeah. Hey, and we're listening to your Sonarworks actually.
True.
Great tool. You use it always on your...
It's not on at the moment, but yeah,
okay. It's not on. Yeah.
I have calibrated my room as well with this software. So yeah, I really recommend it using this. If you got a semi-treated room and you want to take the most out of your room and your speakers, go get Sonarworks. I think.
Yeah. Hey, one more question from Holt. How do you create tension with the breaks? Well, I think you just showed with using the sense. Any other tips, maybe on filters on the bass to open up the filters that usually works, or make sounds longer that usually works as well?
Yeah, and also important, take out some high frequency energy, because that's also really important. Closing the open hi-hat from open to close, dipping a little bit in the high frequency, maybe volume you can a little bit dip out as well.
Yep.
Just subtle things, and don't wait too long with the kick. So this is just a few bars, but I can't extend it too much, because otherwise the track will be boring, you know. Yeah, so don't get in the trap that creating a break with this kind of tracks with minimal stuff and then waiting for a minute and there we go. No, just a few bars. That's perfect. Yeah. Otherwise it's going to sound a little bit boring.
Yeah, you don't have these dramatic breaks that you usually sometimes have in like the more like melodic techno and the deep house stuff. They have more longer kind of, or like the, how do you call it, the melodic techno and the organic house usually have super long breaks with like lots of things before it actually drops. And and the minimal house is just, you know, it's the groove that needs to keep going.
Yeah. As I mentioned before, for this kind of track, you have to keep it short and keep it interesting with minimal stuff. But as I said, this is a few. Now, I don't make much music that is sounding minimal like this. I'm always using more vocals and drops, and so it's really cool to see another project where I'm using that as well.
Nice. Well, this was track one. The next one we're gonna do is Rhythm Import, right? I really love that track, and I really like the way how you treated that vocal. I actually created it's actually my next release on Josh Butler's label with I used also like a vocal on it, and I was stretching the vocal. I didn't use the transients like you did, but it's a really nice way to use on vocals to make it like stuttery or whatnot, just to warp them. So I'm really curious to what you did in there. So let's have a little listen to Rhythm Import, and then we'll be right back with the project. Okie dokie.
you're like.
Ah, lovely, lovely tune. I see Ben is here, Danny's here. Super nice. You guys are tuning in. Red just asked me, can you ask if the relations between kick and bass are the same in volume with Holt's productions? I wouldn't know, man. I wouldn't know. Everybody loves this track, man. This rhythm import. Before we go into it, I would like to take a moment and do some shameless self-promotion, guys, because I have lots of events coming up. I'm doing a masterclass with Odette. She's going to create a track. She's been in the Daamen Live as well. And she makes amazing music. She's on Moscow Records soon again with Archie Hamilton. This woman creates amazing music. We're doing a masterclass live, which you can attend. Limited spots available, of course. And if you want to keep me going, I also have a shop. There's free preset packs, but there's also packs that you can buy. I have a sample pack which I made this summer, which you can buy if you pay it. There's 5% going to the Amazon forest in Brazil, so that's maybe good to know as well. I have some masterclasses, one about mixing from Nora Q, my friend, who does amazing work for lots of artists in the organic house and house scene. And I did a production workflow as well, where I make a track from scratch, and in 2 to 3 hours you'll see how I build music from scratch. So maybe that's nice if you're interested in supporting me and my platform. But enough about me. Let's go back to my friend Holt, my friend Remco, close to custom. And Holt, I'll get back soon to you. He says, I think he meant, are the volumes the same in relation, maybe? I don't know. Let's go check out the kick and bass in this track, because I think the kick and bass of Close to Custom, your kick and bass are always on point, man. It's always like every track I put on from you, as soon as the bass comes in, it's like boom, you know. It's always on point. So yeah, maybe we can dive in and check out what you do always.
Yes, okay, round two.
Round two.
It's very funny
Ding.
because I'm staring at my screen right in the corner, and I'm missing. I'm not missing, but I'm not using any sense. Only did use the Euromix compressor for this track, so
Cool.
it's funny.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, let's have a listen. But otherwise, yeah, I will take you after this just a few minutes, my basic starting template, and you will see some buses back again as well. So I don't know why it's not on here, but yeah, I think it's okay. But I will show you my template as well after this one. Okay.
Super nice.
All right. Now you hear the track before, but just a little bit of screen. So you can see a little bit. Also a side chain above, just the trigger.
Replace the last name with the A. Replace the last name with the A. The man's got the guy. Replace the last name with the A. The man's got the guy. Complex. Techniques that change the picture. Watch Muhammad play the messenger like.
All right. Yeah, we heard it before. Okay, so we starting from the bottom. Let's see. We're having the kick and bass as well. As you can see, I'm not grouping the kick and the groove now. So yeah, it depends, but most of the time it is. For now, this one I'm using the kick. Let's see. Oh, this is a groove run. So we get the kick from DeMarzo house kick.
He's everywhere, isn't he?
I think it's the same kick I used for the other track as well. So yeah, the DeMarzo kick with the drum bass. But now it's on 100%, as you can see. I think it's a little bit of all the project, but most of the time it's 50% because it's very heavy, you know.
Yeah, but you put the master out, the output 5 dB softer, right? So it's not getting really louder. I think it's just really like.
So, and as you can see, like 100% on the drum bass, it's a little bit the same, sounding a little bit the same as the R bass, but it sometimes it gives too much punch in the drum bass. So that's why I'm most using drum bass in combination with the R bass, like 50 on the drum bass and a little bit push on the 55 on the R bass. But
yeah,
as I'm seeing now, I'm not using the R bass on this one. So it depends, and most of the time I'm using it, but sometimes I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. This is also a cool trick as well. Sometimes I'm using a kick underneath just to get more groove in the beginning. So it's swinging, as you can see. And it's funny because this track has got more swing than my other track. So we are on the 16D swing indeed, and we got 110% swing. So then you can start using this kind of groove, like the kick is falling on beneath the groove, and then you get a swinging kind of effect.
Yeah.
So yeah, not much processing. So yeah, it's utility mono, the drum bass, the auto filter for the low end cutoff, and the Pro Q2.
Yeah.
Just to dip a little bit on the 112 frequency. So as you can hear, it's a little bit annoying.
Yeah, I can hear your cats now.
Yeah, my cat is screaming now. So as I said before,
you should sample it, man. Make a meow track.
The cat track. Okay.
Hey, interesting. Yeah, it's a good gig. This, you know.
Cool. Okay. Then we go to the bass.
It's a sample.
Yeah. So it's a sample.
Super nice.
Don't know. I think it's the pack from Sample Market.
Yeah.
Don't know really where I have it, but I think it's from a house pack or something.
Yeah.
Like the Sound Capsule. I think that one, but I think you can find it. Sound Capsule, Dirty Analog House or something. You can find it. Beat 6. So
yeah.
Look for it. Okay, so we get utility, the mono thing, standard thing. Then we get the Pro Q. Did I use some processing? No, it's also cutting.
Yeah.
not so much more. The sidechain. But I think what's really important in this one is just the groove, And as you can see again,
Not playing when the bass is playing.
alternating in the kick. So I'm not straight on the kick.
Yeah.
And also that trick on the end of the bar, that variation, as you can see, it's really key.
Yeah. I also like to use it,
Yeah, that's so important.
I
Otherwise,
also like to use them only on the 16 and the 8 notes, and then maybe sometimes have a sub bass accentuating the first one, and that sub bass I'll just sidechain to the kick, and then it's fine. But you get this like nice low layer. This is cool, man. Your bass lines are always super like funky and rolling. Like everything you're putting out the last year is like super on point with the bass lines. It's really nice.
Yeah.
And I think that's the foundation, right, for a good track.
Yeah, true, it is. And what I said, sometimes I'm using more bass line, but sometimes this one bass line is enough, as you can hear.
Yeah.
So this is a little bit variation, and this is the answer, the first part, and the response is the last thing. Also using that analogy on this one. Then we go to the heads. I'm using Q2 to roll off the low frequencies, and then boosting a little bit of the high frequency in the Mage Q.
Yeah. 10K.
10K, a little bit of this one.
I love this airband of the Mage Q.
Yeah, it's really cool. I'm loving it.
Look at all these projects on the left, guys. Just a little note here. If you want to get your music to a certain level, it's important you make a lot of music.
It is. Okay, so as I mentioned before, always separating my heads in a group in the drum bus. So I'm having complete control over the heads and the high frequencies.
Yeah,
really important to tackle them together. So when I'm using like let's see the Q3 one. So always good. And then I'm tackling the high frequencies as a whole. So it's really cool to see from, okay, do I have any peaks in my frequencies or not? And then you can do it by ear as well. So, but this one, as you can see, it's really cool. It's really flat as well. So not any spikes. So yeah, it works. Yeah. Always checking your high frequency if you have any dirty spikes, and then correct them by ear, not by eye.
Yeah, sometimes they can be nice. If it's a nice tone, it's nice to have.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Okay, so we have now the kick, bass, and the heads. All right, then we go to the perc.
Four claps again.
Also 4 claps again. Yeah. Some plugins disabled, but I'm also using this on the PSP, but it doesn't do anything now because it's on 0%. It's making things a little bit wider, so really wide, and it gets also a little bit more prominent in the mix as well, but I'm not feeling using it at the moment. It's mono, it's perfect. Sometimes you want to a little bit stand out a little bit more. You can use this little shit.
Unsure if we're listening to stereo, by the way, because I'm not sure if you shared your screen using stereo, actually.
All right, okay.
Do you know?
No, where can I check that?
Well, if I stop your screen sharing for a bit, so stop participant sharing, and if you share screen again, so hi, it's us again. If you do share screen in the bottom left corner, you have this option to share sound, and there's this little arrow. You can make it stereo high fidelity.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys, I should have checked earlier. But
we're back again.
Now we probably have stereo.
We're back again. Okay, so
hey,
yeah. So this is the difference.
Yeah, now we can hear it.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, it's really cool. Plug in. So this on, off, this off.
Yeah.
On. So yeah, it gets a little bit more prominent in the mix. Not using any clap fills, it's just there, just sitting. Alright, snare. jacking snare. Oh, wait, this one, sorry. Always using this kind of fills, so.
Yeah. Yeah,
there you have it.
Yeah, it's so nice. Yeah, good swing on it.
Yeah, you can make endless variation as well. So you can take the track a little bit further to put in these subtleties in arrangement.
Yeah.
So you can do it as well. And I think then you have to use session view a little bit more to make more clips and then firing off some clips with that variation. So that's thing I'm going to dive a little bit more in the future to make that kind of edits, because it's in my head, but sometimes I'm too lazy. I think, okay, it's okay.
Yeah, it's nice to make some little fills here and there to have the pattern slightly speed up a bit with some more snares. And Hey, can I quickly stop you for a little question?
Sure.
Jay Sansra, he's asking, do you use a linear phase EQ in FabFilter to diminish phasing?
Oh, I'm not really into that kind of technical stuff.
Yeah.
I think you are better in the linear phase topic than me.
Well, I use linear phase like on some of the mid sounds, I don't use it on the lower ones because you get pre-ringing, If you want to get deeper on this topic, check out the FabFilter video. It's on the FabFilter website. They have great videos, and there's one which is the ultimate guide to EQing or something, part 1 and 2, and they explain and they show you also the difference, the linear phase, but also like the oversampling modes that you have. I use oversampling on all my Ableton EQs. If you right click on the EQ, you can use oversampling, which is, it's a very technical mathematical thing, but it means that actually you get low frequency build up that comes from anti-aliasing, and therefore you might want to check out these videos of FabFilter. So yes.
Thank you, Camiel.
Yes, you're welcome. Lessons in life. Hey, and one more question. Holt, he wants to know what headphones we're using. I'm using the Biodynamic 990. I also have the 770. I think the 250 ohms. They're great and cheap and good. Which ones are you using, Remco?
Yeah, for now I'm using the DT7070 Pro, but I'm also having this one, and that's the open back version, like the DT9090 Pro. 250 ohms.
We have exactly the same ones. I have the open 990 and I have the closed 770. That's interesting.
Bro!
Yeah, man. Yeah. Hey, Berkey, what's up, dude? Glad you're tuning in again. Nice. And congratulations, you've received 100 messages today with Restream chats. Guys, this is one of the most fun chats we've had in time. So it's nice.
But I think the open one I'm preferring. So the DT9090 with the open back one, they are more neutral, and this one are more close. A little bit better for the low end, but I think I'm preferring the open back ones.
Yeah, the open ones also, you can have them on for longer. With the closed ones, I always feel at some point I'm like, my ear, I can hear my blood pressure. I'm gonna, So it's nice to have the open ones to be a bit more relaxed if you have to wear your headphones for a longer time. Yeah.
True. So I'm unsure. Preferring the other one, but this is for now. It's okay to get more noise outside of mine.
Yeah, exactly. So you don't hear your cats.
That's the point.
Yeah.
Okay, we go to we got the jacking snare. Always what I'm trying to do, using multiple snares, and I'm thinking I want to use a jacking snare, like ripping from some kind of breakbeat stuff, and I'm always, most of the time, using a 909 snare above it to make some drops and fills and things like that. So we got the jacking one. Then we have again. So as you can hear now, also answer response. The jacking snare and the 909 snare is talking to each other.
Yeah, question and answer is one of the most important concepts. Call and response, or how you want to use it. Yeah, needs to be like a conversation.
Doesn't do any much. This one. A little bit, as you can hear. Okay, then we go to the loop. Also a little bit of high end, as you can see.
Yeah.
Okay, that's just the loops. Also cutting off the low and side chaining it as well
Yeah.
to the kick. If I'm deleting that one.
Yeah, you
Okay.
get really nice.
Little bit. Okay, so for the drum bus, we got, for now, we get the saturation plugin from the Waves one.
Yes. Tape
Like the G7037.
Yeah.
Don't use that much often, but okay.
Yeah, it's great for a little bit of tape saturation.
Yeah, it is, yeah. Also a little bit more about the FEP filter EQ, a high cut, and also
There he is
the
again.
Maag again.
Yeah, the Maag is amazing.
As you can see, most of the time I'm using this 2.5K boost around 2 dB to get a little bit more of that spark and top end in your tracks. Not too much, otherwise it's too shiny. But yeah, it's really good to use it one. And also checking afterwards for some nasty spikes. Otherwise, you have to copying and dropping in EQ afterwards to correct a little bit. But if you're having an annoying frequency,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's a really good one, the Maag. Sending it to the Euromix compressor makes a lot of difference, as you can hear. So without, with,
Yeah.
it's more in your face, you know. So really important to get the drive in your drum bus. We got the noise. Also side chaining it as well with the LFO tool. As you can see, sometimes I'm using different plugins as my brain is a little bit of foggy, and I'm a little bit of low of attention. Just grabbing, putting some plugins everywhere.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's also nice to use different ones. You know, basically this is the same as the Nicky Romero one. I think it's
Indeed,
just a shaper
indeed.
for the volume, right? Yeah.
Okay, so also the final thing combined.
Nice.
Then we go to
Layers of noise, super interesting. It's nice.
yes, and that's really important as well. Then we go to the synth and pads. Then we go to the first one.
Oh, this bass line, man, it's so nice. Yeah, this one sounds also really adds, man.
Little, yeah.
I
I'm
call
putting a
these
reverb.
usually,
I'm putting a reverb on the channel. Mostly, I'm not doing it, but this one it is.
Yeah,
That's I think the reason why I didn't have any sense, because I'm putting a reverb on this.
on the channels in this case. Yeah, it's nice to switch up workflow, man. You get different results. It's nice, you know. Track turned out great though.
So this one is really important for the groove. As you can hear, it's driving the track completely. It's so important. And that are the kind of stuff when you're making music a longer time. That's the things you recognition for, okay, this sounds so well with the track, and then you go on. And that's, I think, that's, from my opinion, training your ears, because most of the time people are asking advice to pro producers, just using your ears, mate, using your ears. What the fuck? What are using your ears? What do you mean by it? You know?
Like it's also you get better in choosing sounds. You know, that's something when I started out. You know, I was always like, I couldn't make the stuff that I wanted to make, but in hindsight, it's just I was choosing the wrong sounds, you know. So it's really good sometimes also to list for yourself, like what sounds do I need to have in my, what do I actually like to have in my tracks. And if you consider, okay, I need minor seventh chords, I need some nice groove loops, I need 909 based drums, and then you get to this sort of sound, you know. And if you're gonna use totally different drums, it might sound a bit different, you know. So there's a certain, if you're gonna make a dish, and if you want to cook Japanese, I always say, you know, you're gonna use Japanese sort of ingredients. You're not gonna put pasta in your Japanese dish, you know. So every dish has its own ingredients, and the same goes for making electronic music, I guess, you know.
Really important one, because the most of the time I'm just throwing some things and sounds in it, and then I'm just listening. Okay, does this contribute to the track, and does it keeps the track further? And it's funny because when I'm thinking about this, I also watched the Joko one with you, and he's just really good at selecting sounds that fits with each other.
Yeah, man.
Minimal processing, and that's the kind of feeling you develop in the years you're producing. So that's the thing. I think, yeah, you get better at selecting sounds.
Yeah, the more you make music, the more you select better, and the more you know where you want to go or take a track, and then the more you realize, hey, this sound, what does this sound actually can add to this track, and what can I do with the sound over time to make the track interesting? You know, that's all that counts.
So listen with and without. It works, you know.
Yeah, it's really nice groove loop.
Also subtlety, again, another layer, a little bit on the high frequency, a little bit wide.
Yeah.
The other one.
I love the sound.
And as you can see, these things are loops, you know.
Yeah.
So sometimes I'm creating a pattern with MIDI lines and synth lines and MIDI parts, or sometimes I'm just creating my kick and my bass and my drums, and then I'm just throwing loops in the key that I'm making it. Just this one is the C minor, and I'm knowing, because when I'm writing a bass line, I'm setting my key for the track as well.
Yep.
So okay, I'm staying to the C minor key, and then I'm just searching in my search bar C minor key steps, and I'm just throwing in, and then trust my ears. Okay, is this going to work or not?
Yep.
And that's, I built the track with this technique.
Yeah. Yeah,
Right,
it's just nice to throw in stuff, you know, to get creative. Sometimes it's really good to throw in some loops, and maybe you get into an idea. Maybe I should find a step myself. But sometimes just the loop works, or you can reverse parts of the loops, or you know, it's really nice.
Because I think that's how the brain works. The brain doesn't work the way, okay, I'm sitting down, just staring at the sky, and then, whoa, damn, I got a melody in my head. No. Just throwing, and then just throwing paint on the wall, and then just see what sticks.
Yeah, it's like kids also do it. They just throw everything around just to see if they can find something new to play with. They break stuff because they're trying to figure out how the universe works. So they throw stuff on the ground to see how gravity works, and that's it. When you get playful like a kid, you actually get to new results. Yeah, the vocal, that's really interesting because where do you find vocals? These are the Fujis, right?
Yeah, the Fujis, yeah, and that's a Tribe Called Quest with Busta Rhymes, and I'm just take out a snippet of the whole sentence. So let's listen.
Replace the last name with the S.
Like the processing, I'm using a filter as well. So also building up tension in the track, starting with a low pass filter, people getting to know, okay, there's a vocal coming. Because you can do it both ways. You can do it one time and then you're missing some surprise element, or you're building a little bit up with a low filter, the high pass filter as you call it. Cutting off the low frequencies, little micro shift to spread up a little bit of the vocal in its frequency spectrum. As you can see, a little too wide, just a little bit again.
Name with the X. The man's got the God complex. Take the step, change the picture. Watch Muhammad play the messenger like.
And this part is really funny because I was listening this in solo, and I'm like, okay, shit, the drop beneath after this, it has to work on the dance floor, because it stops perfectly when the drops come back again. So
replace the last name with the X. The man's got the God.
No snare roll needed. A little bit, okay. That's
like,
it.
Boom. Yeah.
So, and that's also the whole sentence is the answer, and then when everything comes back in, that's the response. So selected the add, and then bam, gaan we.
Yeah. And you use the transients inside of the clip, right, to make it stutter like this. To use the like you have it on the. Let me move your name because it's in the way.
Replace the last name with the X. The man's got the God complex. Take the step, change the picture. Watch Muhammad play the messenger like.
Yeah, and that's really important, as you can hear.
Yeah, so treat it as a beat basically. I really love it to warp vocals on beats mode. You get a really nice time stretching. Well, it's not really time stretching. It's just it's chopping it up.
True. Sometimes it's not working. Sometimes I'm doing it on Complex Pro if I'm having more sentence, like more bigger lines, then I'm using Complex and just stretching out a little bit. But with a choppy one and then fitting it into the track, just using beats and then chopping it, and then just use your ear. I'm not having a method before I'm going to try and vocal. Just fuck around and just try to listen. Okay, this works. Okay, go on next. What do we?
Yeah.
And then we have this one, like also the plugin the Marzo shared on his channel. That's the sidechain, but it's a delay, but it's sidechaining itself until the track stops. So because this delay, as you can see, is just sidechaining whenever it's playing. So it's sidechaining itself.
Yeah, how cool.
Okay.
Replace the last name with the man's got complex.
Then it's too busy, you know.
Yeah.
And now that's also a more important of the skippy part. It's getting delayed, but it's getting sidechained from itself. And when it stops, it releases, so you get a tail from it as well.
Yeah, it's sort of like a gated reverb, basically. But then a gated delay or something.
The man's got
Yeah, interesting.
As you can hear this one. So really important, because if I'm not having it.
Replace the last name with the X. The man's got complex. Take the step, change the picture. Watch Muhammad play the messenger like.
Yeah, it it's too full.
Not sounding good.
Yeah.
And this, okay, just.
Watch Muhammad play the messenger like.
Yeah, smoother. Transitions.
So much smoother. Yeah, nice.
All right, to the big break.
Oh, nice. You filtered it, you know.
Replace the last name with the X.
Background noise, as you can hear.
Replace the last name with the X. The man's got Replace the last name with the X. The man's got complex. Take the step, change the picture. Watch Muhammad play the messenger like.
So yeah, most of the time I'm using a little bit of snare roll because we're on the genre of minimal house, deep tech house. Sometimes I'm using a snare roll about 16 bars, but most of the times it's subtle. Just a few bars before the drop, getting a snare roll in, and then it's contributing to the swinging part of the track. Otherwise, it's a little bit strange if you're having a massive snare roll swinging. It can work, but this track doesn't need it because this break, it's laying around the vocal. The vocal is the most important thing.
Yeah.
So when I'm putting a really long snare underneath it, people get distracted from it. That's also experience that if you're making longer music, okay, then you need to think, okay, what's important in the break? The snare roll, is it contributing or take the attention from the main part? Yeah. So just keeping it short, do the vocalist thing, a little bit of a snare roll, and then we're back on it. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, man. And then you have the background, and that's it. You're the hyper compressor. Yeah, I saw Sidney Charles also used it. I went back to the
this one
to the episode with Sidney and checked out some of the things he said, because I also I do these shows, but some things I write down but I forget. So I went back, and this hyper compressor, I was like, oh yeah, of course, let me check that out, because I usually use the 1176 compressor for parallel compression. So I was like, now why not use this hyper compressor from Per Harmar and friends? They make amazing stuff actually, it's really nice to use it on your sense. Before we go to some questions, people, please write down your questions. If you have any questions for my friend Close to Custom, I see Ben already has a question. We'll go there in a bit. Let him show the master chain, because I see you use Endless Smile, which is one of the funniest plugins in the world.
Done alive.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of their music, because that's just taste. But this plugin, man, it's so funny.
That's just good.
And also, if you watch the video,
I'm not using this very often. Once in a while. But as you can see, a little bit of what it does is it's just a combination of low cut filter, reverb, and stereo widening.
Yeah, and phasers, depends on which preset. Yeah.
So a little bit. So maybe we can listen.
The last name with the man's got complex. Take the step, change the picture. Watch
So also subtlety brings you a lot. So it's a little bit. So sometimes you can use it in your track. I'm not using it very often, but this one I used in this track. So yeah,
Cool. All right. So let's fire some questions. What processing do you use on your hi-hats? Well, we've gone over those, but let's check it out.
yeah. This one is not very much as I say. I don't know which plugin this was, but just the low cut and the Magic Q,
Magic Cube for life. Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
but also I will show you my template, and I was also in conjunction with the hypercompression, also the devil lock, also sending my heads to that buses as well to keep to maintain a little bit of that grittiness on the hi-hats.
Yeah.
Really important.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's too shiny and too hi-fi.
Cool. So, also, Noisy Shapes asks for managing the CPU usage. What is your advice? You convert only the synths or also the drums, maintaining the MIDI for future changing. Do you flatten a lot of stuff for CPU problems, or do you have?
It's very funny because in this one I'm only using samples, as you can see.
Yeah, so it's
So
not really heavy.
all these synth sounds are just samples.
Yeah.
But I'm having a strong computer, so I don't have to worry much about that kind of stuff. But yeah, I think but it depends on your personal workflow. Some people do everything in audio clips, sometimes rendering stuff, but I think what's really cool is just taking a synth, then just jamming with your push or parameters, cut off frequency, open them, and then just record that line, bouncing down to audio, and then you're saving just some CPU, because some synths like Diva, for instance, they're sounding really good, but they're CPU hungry.
Yeah.
So I think it's important then, if you have a really good line, just tweak some little parameters on the synth, record that one, and then using that in your project.
Yeah, I always freeze them. You know, I always freeze the heavy ones, and
True,
and,
yeah.
and then or at Diva you can also put the patch. You can put it on draft. It's usually on great or divine, which sounds great, but has a lot of CPU power. So I put it on draft, and when I render out the sound, I just put it on divine or on great. Cool. What synth do you use for bass? E-Rule asks.
Yeah, this one. This was a sample.
This was
huh?
a sample,
So we
and the other one
got-
was the silly bass. Yeah. What are your favorite bass units? Is somebody also asks? Berkey asks, do you use operator for bass? What do you use for
Sometimes,
bass?
yeah, sometimes. So we have here the addicted basses from Operator. We created with Jack together. Let's hear.
It's a FM sine wave. Yeah.
Yeah, this bass is used on the forthcoming collab with Jack with the addicted track.
Oh yeah. Shall we play it? Shall we play the addicted track on? It's gonna be on Richie Next label, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
Yeah, we'll play it. Let's go to all the basses, and then we'll work it.
Yeah, so this is the DMC bass. So I think it's also a sample.
There you go. Yeah, nothing beats a good sample, mate.
The solid bass as well, the rhythm import bass I collected. The God Made Me Funky organ. This one is the solid bass preset from samples. Yeah.
Oh yes. Is it samples from Mars or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. I love the samples.
But most sometimes I'm also using the tall one as well. This one,
Yeah.
really cool. And then
love this one as well.
which preset I'm using a lot, the solid tracks. Which one was it? Let me see. It's this one.
Yeah. Classic TH1, the Roland SH101.
That's really important. Also, this what I mentioned before, the Fury 800. Where do I see him?
Fury 800. What a great name.
So this is the silly bass I'm using a lot. Oh, I'm hearing another one. I'm hearing another sound above it. I don't know what it is. I don't know. Maybe it's probably something. But the silly bass is a really good one. And also sometimes just samples, you know.
Yeah.
What is important about the bass, just cut off the low frequency, sometimes automating the frequency to open up a little bit to gain more like of automation. That's really important. But yeah, more lead on lead, rhythm input bass, Wu-Tang bass. Let's see what this
Wu-Tang
one
bass,
was.
sampled from the
Wu-
Wu-Tang Clan. Why not?
Yeah.
It's nice.
So that's also a really cool trick. When you having made a track and you really like the bass line from it, just save it so you can use it in other projects when you're missing lack of inspiration or you think, oh, this one works.
Your workflow is on your workflow and setup is on fleek because your collections are well constructed. You know, it's your samples are well organized. It's, I think, really important. You know, if you're gonna cook, you also cut up everything before you start cooking, which is nice. It gives you total flow. You know. Nice. Maybe let's check out the template and then call it a day. In 20 minutes, I have another class with somebody from the other side of the world.
Do you want to let the people hear about the track? Or?
Oh, yeah, of course. Let's play Addicted while you load your template. Sorry, man, I forgot.
Yeah, cool.
So this is going to be, you made this with Den Haas, this EP?
The Addicted one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or you made it with Den Haas, and it's going to be on Richie Next label.
Yo.
Cool. Here we go. nice. I love these vocals, man. You guys have a really good ear for vocals. Jay. Jay is signing off. Guys, bye, Jay. Thanks for tuning in and bringing your Kimba friends. It was great. All right, so let's have a look at the template. So this is where you usually start with.
Yeah, so this is my starting template. As you can see, just making different groups and buses as well. So we got the kick and bass channel. We got the kick in the top. We got the bass, and that contains of the Fury, the TD3, the sub layer, and the high bass as well. Then we go to the drums, and also the drums is divided in the heads, the claps, the snares, the perks, the loops, the stylus thing,
Yeah, man.
Yeah, you know him.
Yeah.
Okay,
I think Den Haas showed it with his breakbeats. It's amazing unit.
Yeah, so that's also a really good one. I'm using a lot, and the RD6, which is now just as my furniture in the studio for now, but sometimes using it. And then the crashes at the end, a normal crash and a reverse crash. And here the gates, also triggering some MIDI clips, and that can depend from drums, synths, bass, vocals, everything. So as you can see, that's really fun because this is the structured thing, so the main stuff, and then when I'm lay this down, so the kick, my drums, etc., then I'm going to the creative part for my feeling. So then I'm starting using gates, making my own loops, making my own synth shots, making some bass lines. So that's also a technique I'm using in my head to approach music making.
Yeah.
Then we got the Hyper Devil compressor with a little bit of pseudo stereo on it. We got the Devil Lock. Then we got there's another reverb plugin I use, the EOS 2, really good one as well.
Yeah.
The drum blade 2 preset.
Damn, it's nice. Yeah.
Another reverb, a little bit bigger. Then we got the delay Echo Boy, and we got this one, the Final from Isotope.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I also have that. I never use it. I should use it.
So it's the same like the Final stuff.
Yeah.
And this one, this sneaky bastard over here, the sidechain trigger, the reference. So I can put reference tracks as well. Then this gem, but I will talk about it when we speak each other later. This Riffer, really cool one. You never seen this one before?
No, don't know. It looks really interesting.
This just making melodies on the fly,
Nice.
like this.
I like these dice kind of things.
Yeah, so you can set the scale, the swing, the amount of randomness. Yeah, that's also
Nice.
a little
It's
trick
a bit
by
like
the trade of the trade.
Yeah, trick of the trade. Yeah, it's also
So
like a bit like the Dr. Chaos from the probability pack of Ableton,
True.
which is free actually.
So what you can do about this is, in mind you have a synth, like a key synth or whatever. Then you put the MIDI through this one.
Yeah.
And then he's generating some melodies, and then you can extract, bounce the audio, rip it, snip it, drop it, name it, touch it, breathe it. Technology.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah.
Suddenly we got the Beastie Boys here.
So yeah, the possibilities are endless.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Awesome, man. Dude.
So,
yeah.
And on the master.
Oh yeah.
Just also the low
Spanner
cut and the span,
which is also free. Yeah, and the Sonarworks.
And the Sonarworks. This is my room.
Look at the bump of like 10 dB bump at 100 hertz in your room, man. Can you imagine? That's something that needs fixed. Sonarworks is a great plugin. By the way, if you follow a course with Lessons in Life, you get 50% off your Sonarworks purchase.
But if you're like you, an experienced producer, you see, because I have treated my room, the mid and high frequency are pretty good balance, as you can see.
It's just a
it's
little
on the flat line.
Just the low end. Usually the low end is the problem, actually, you know? So
True.
Yeah. Hey, man. I have to make it sure, because in 10 minutes I have a student from Costa Rica. Dude, thank you so much. It's been such a great session. We have great sessions, but it's always nice to have somebody.
Really cool to do, man. Really.
Yeah, and thanks to everybody tuning in and being so active in the chat. Next week I'm have a little break, and then the week, because I'm doing a live stream for Ableton on the Ableton user group, or on the Ableton user group Amsterdam, I believe, or the Ableton channel, the Dutch channel we do. So I do a track breakdown of my Origins track, which the release I did on Just Butler's label. Next one is coming in November, by the way, which I'll also do a breakdown soon. But we got the week after, we have Sota, who just did his EP on Up the Sus, which is nice. So yeah, we're gonna keep coming back with loads of interesting chats, and man, it means the world to me that you've shared everything, and it means the world to me that everybody's watching always. And I hope we all make better music and just enjoy making music. And yeah, Remco, just thank you for sharing this. I hope people got inspired. They will.
I hope so. Yeah.
And good luck on your gigs this weekend. You're gigging in London this weekend.
True. Yeah, I'm flying to London this weekend. So I'm basing house with the Southeastern Party. So really looking forward to make my debut with the London fam.
Nice.
It's a London thing.
It's a London thing, mate. Yeah,
it's a London thing.
And yeah, just before we quit, I got this from Speedy J. He always asks this in his Knob Twiddler show, which is also great if you're into this stuff. What we're doing here, Knob Twiddlers by Speedy J, is another channel which is great. He's sitting with lots of heroes and just talking, music production. Is there anything you would like to plug close to custom? Anything that's coming out? Just throw it out there.
I thought you were asking me to do a certain kind of quote or wisdom.
No. Yeah, well, anything, whatever you want.
Yeah, no, I'm just making music and just enjoying it, and just a few collabs with Jack coming on the way.
Yeah,
coming in December. I got another release on Flirt in January, and solo EP. I got another solo track on various artists on, I don't remember the label now, but there are a few things coming. So yeah, I'm really looking forward. And as I said before, just feel better, I'm just failing today and next week also, but yeah, learning little bits
and getting better. Well, man, you're on a good path. Your music is awesome, and thank you for doing this. Everybody, thanks for checking out. I'll see you in 2 weeks with Sota, and see you at the next one. This one will be available at the YouTube, by the way, youtube.com/lessonsinlife. So check out the channel if you're not subscribed yet. Subscribe to stay updated. Thanks, Remco, and everybody.
Thanks, Camiel.
Have a great night.
And everyone. Yeah.
Ciao,
Bye.
ciao, ciao.